All right, continuing with our media availabilities here this morning, we've now been joined by Regan Smith, driver of the number 7 TaxSlayer.com Chevrolet in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And Regan, welcome home. Watkins Glen is what you consider your home racetrack. So just talk a little bit about what it means to come back to, this area and really just the fan support that, all drivers seem to really receive when they're close to home.
Yeah, it's always a special weekend for me to come back here and get to race at the Glen. I grew up watching races here and coming here as a fan and as a kid and enjoying the spectacle that is this place. So, anytime you can have a race at your home track, 75 miles from Cato, where I grew up just outside of Syracuse, it's a special weekend, and you definitely get up for those races and want to have a good weekend. And, it'd mean nothing more to me than to win at the Glen. That would be a special day, and we've had fast cars the past few years here, so I think we're going to have an opportunity to do that if we, go out and do our jobs and perform and see where the weekend takes us.
All right, we'll go ahead and start in the back and then come up front to Reed.
Hey, Mike Toper, Time Warner Cable News and Baldwinsville native. Can you talk about, growing up here? Does that give you some extra familiarity, the fact that you've run on here a number of times? You think that's going to help you out here this weekend?
Well, I didn't actually get to race at the Glen until I was quite a bit older. I was probably 24, 25 the first time I raced here. So I don't know how much familiarity growing up here gave me as to the track. I guess I know how to get around the infield a little bit better because I've walked around it quite a bit and, figured out where everything is. But, outside of that, it was more or less just coming here, getting the experience on the racetrack. There's, it's a road course for us. We don't do this every week. And it certainly, adds challenges that we have to remind ourselves. This first practice for me will be about going out and remembering, hey, I need to hit my mark in this corner. I need to hit my mark in that corner. Try to give some feedback while I'm doing that to the team so they can continue to adjust the car. And then the second practice is when you really look for the speed that you're going to need in the race.
All right, Reed, go ahead.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Regan, we're coming up on a strange part of the schedule as far as the Xfinity is concerned. 3 road courses, Bristol and Darlington. From a championship standpoint, do you feel like maybe the championship can turn on these next 5 races?
Well, it certainly can. And, as you know, Reed, I've had issues on the road courses in the past. We've been fast everywhere we've been. And, the wild card aspect to it is that you can get run into by somebody on a restart or messing up their braking or whatever it may be and take a day that looks to be a good top 5 day and all of a sudden turn it upside down and end up 35th. So these 3 road courses are going to be a wild card. I think we all were prepared for that. We knew that. The interesting part is how the schedule is kind of laid out this year a little bit differently, with them being more or less back-to-back to almost back. And you throw Bristol in the middle there. Bristol's always entertaining, and a lot of crazy things can happen there. So I think after last weekend, with some of the emotions getting a little high with guys and coming into this stretch, it could be the most interesting stretch of our schedule. And it certainly could be an opportunity for somebody like ourselves to gain a big chunk of points. We've been chipping away at it a little bit at a time, and these 3-4 races could be that chance to make that bigger jump forward that we need to make.
All right, go ahead.
Kyle Magda, Race Chaser Online. Regan, I just want to go back to last week. You finished second there with the 22 fading late in the race. Might have had a tire rub or something. But I know earlier in the season you talked about the cars having the speed but not the handling. How have the cars been as of late and going forward here in the next rest of the season?
Well, I think as a company we felt strong about our short track program. Definitely the road course program we felt strong about. Intermediates at the beginning of the year, we really came out of the box and thought we had made some gains and felt pretty good about where we were at. There's some other teams that have really stepped it up over the past probably 3 months here and seem to make some gains as well. And I think when we left Indy, we kind of knew that we had to find just a little bit of speed. So we've got this 5-week stretch here that the guys in the shop and all the guys on each team have been working hard to give us what we need to go just a little bit better and to challenge the Gibbs cars and the Penske cars, who seem to really be on top of it right now. But as for this stretch here, I feel good about where we're at. Our speed last weekend was great. We had what we needed there. We were just a little bit off the 22 car, and then the late race restart, he kind of caught me just a little bit there. I was intending on jumping the restart, and he jumped it quite a bit more than I thought you could even do. So it it was surprising to me. I was fortunate just to stay in second. I thought had we been able to go into turn one side by side with him having the issue that he had with that tire, it looked like it really tightened up his race car a lot, and felt like we might have had an opportunity there, but just didn't quite work out. Thanks.
Right, go ahead.
Regan, Travis Eldridge, WB and GTV out of Binghamton. You replaced Tony in the Sprint Cup Series last year here. What did that do for you at all? Just does it give you any more familiarity with the track, just another run during a race?
Well, I think laps are important at a road course. They're important at any racetrack we go to. We go to, any oval. The more laps you can get, the more familiar you are with it, what the handling characteristics of the tire is going to do, how it's going to fall off, and whatever it may be. So the laps were great. Did it help me for the Xfinity stuff? No, because I didn't do it until Sunday. I didn't even know about it until 8:30 Sunday morning. But overall, just being in the race car on the track, you can always pick something up, find out how other guys have kind of tuned their car, set them up, what feel they're looking for, and that was something that was interesting to me, was to feel his car on a long run, on a short run, what it did that I liked, what maybe I would have liked to have a little bit differently, and just take that and put it in the mental bank and use it for future reference. So I don't know that it'll pay off at all this weekend necessarily, but definitely the laps don't hurt.
All right, we'll take our final question from Alan.
Who's your favorite college to root for? I'm kidding.
We already know that, Alan. Come on.
Yes. How hard is it to race a teammate for a championship? And as a competitor, what's it like when you see two other teammates kind of battling it out on the racetrack? I'm talking about the Roush guys, as someone who's chasing them.
Well, I love seeing that. I don't know where it stands this week, how many meetings they had to talk to everybody and do everything, but I'm hoping they didn't have any, and they keep that same anger at each other. So it's always difficult to race a teammate, and we did it last year with myself and Chase running 1-2 for the majority of the season. Back and forth, and you want to beat them for pride within your own shop, but then you also know the big picture is you want to beat them to gain points and continue that push for the, when we get to Homestead, to be in the right position. It doesn't make it any easier. With that said, I think we're all competitors and we're all pretty selfish individuals when it comes down to it. So we want to do the best for ourselves and our team, and we're going to do whatever we have to make that happen. In our situation this year, with both teams trying to gain points, we're really leaning on each other. If one car is better than the other car, or vice versa, you lean on each other and look at each other's notes and do everything you can and use every tool in your toolbox to gain on that competition. The Roush cars having their whatever you want to call it, and I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't follow real close what happened, other than I just heard there was something going on. But with them having that going on, if it takes 1 ounce of focus away from what they're doing, then it's helping us out, and I'm fine with that.
Regan, we appreciate your time this morning and wish you best of luck this weekend.
All right, thanks.